The first day of Maya Carter's dream job began with a cup of coffee being thrown into her face. It was 8:17 in the morning when the 22-year-old walked through the glass doors of Kensington Associates. Her white blouse was freshly ironed. Her shoes were new. And inside her small handbag was a folded photograph of the woman who had raised her. Maya had promised her before leaving home, "Mom, today I'm going to prove that all your sacrifices were worth it." She had no idea that before the day ended, everyone in that building would know her name. But not for the reason she expected. Maya was the newest intern at one of the most powerful financial firms in the city. She had earned the position through years of hard work. She had grown up poor, but she had never allowed poverty to make her feel small. Unfortunately, someone else in the company had already decided she was small. Her name was Victoria Hale. Victoria was the company's senior director. Beautiful, powerful, and known for treating employees like they were invisible. When Victoria walked into the lobby, everyone immediately stepped aside. Maya was carrying a tray of coffee for a meeting when Victoria stopped in front of her. "You," Victoria said coldly. Maya looked up. "Yes, ma'am. Who told you that interns are allowed to use the executive elevator?" Maya looked confused. "I'm sorry. I didn't know." "You should have known." Maya lowered her eyes. "I apologize. It won't happen again." Victoria stared at her white blouse. Then she smiled. "Not kindly. You people always apologize after making mistakes." Maya quietly stepped aside. But as she turned, Victoria deliberately knocked the coffee tray from her hands. One cup flew upward. The hot coffee splashed across Maya's chest. She gasped. The pain was immediate. The lobby went silent. Maya looked down at her ruined white blouse. Then she looked at Victoria. "I'm sorry," Maya whispered. Victoria crossed her arms. "You should be." A few employees looked away. Nobody said anything. Maya felt tears burning her eyes, but she refused to cry. She walked quickly toward the restroom. Inside, she stood in front of the mirror. Her hands were shaking. She remembered her mother's voice from that morning. "Whatever happens, Maya, never let someone else's cruelty change the kind of person you are." Maya closed her eyes. Then she whispered, "I won't." What Maya didn't know was that someone had witnessed everything. A man standing near the private elevators. Ethan Carter, the billionaire CEO of Kensington Associates. And the man everyone in the company believed was simply the mysterious owner who rarely appeared in the lobby. Ethan had heard Victoria's words. He had seen the coffee. But something else had caught his attention. The photograph sticking out of Maya's handbag. A photograph of a young woman standing beside a little girl. Ethan froze. Because he knew that woman. He had been searching for her for 22 years. His sister. The woman he believed had died. Ethan immediately followed Maya. He found her sitting alone in a small conference room, trying to clean the coffee stains from her blouse. "You shouldn't have to do that," he said. Maya looked up. "I'm fine." "You're clearly not." She forced a smile. "It's just coffee." Ethan sat across from her. "What's your name?" "Maya Carter." His expression changed. "Carter." "Yes. Who is your mother?" Maya hesitated. "Her name was Emily." The room suddenly felt silent. Ethan's face turned pale. "Emily Carter." Maya nodded. "Did you know her?" Ethan stood up slowly. "Where is she?" Maya looked confused. "She passed away 6 months ago." Ethan's eyes filled with tears. For 22 years, he had believed his younger sister Emily was dead. After a family tragedy, Emily had disappeared. The family had searched. They had hired investigators. But she had never been found. Ethan had spent his entire adult life carrying the guilt that he hadn't protected her. And now the daughter of that missing woman was sitting in front of him. "My mother told me something before she died," Maya said. Ethan looked at her. "She said my father left before I was born." Ethan swallowed hard. "What was your father's name?" Maya reached into her handbag. She pulled out the same photograph. Behind it was a handwritten note. "My mother told me never to open this unless I found the Carter family." Ethan stared at the handwriting. He knew it immediately. It was Emily's. His hands trembled as he opened the note. There were only 3 sentences. "Ethan, if you are reading this, I'm sorry. I never abandoned you. I was forced to disappear to protect my daughter. Please find Maya. She is the family you still have." Ethan couldn't hold back his tears. Maya stared at him. "What does this mean?" Ethan looked at her. Then he said the words that changed her life forever. Maya. He struggled to speak. I'm your uncle. Maya's eyes widened. No. I'm sorry you had to grow up without us. Maya stood frozen. For years she had believed she had no family. No grandparents. No wealthy relatives. No one waiting for her. And now she was standing in front of the man who was actually her mother's brother. But before Maya could process everything, the conference room doors opened. Victoria walked in. She was furious. Maya, what are you doing in here? Then she saw Ethan. Her face immediately changed. Mr. Carter. Ethan turned toward her. His voice was calm. Too calm. Victoria. She smiled nervously. I was just looking for the intern. No, Ethan replied. You were looking for someone you thought had no power. Victoria went silent. Ethan pointed toward Maya's coffee-stained blouse. You humiliated her in front of this entire company. Victoria tried to explain. It was an accident. Ethan shook his head. I watched you do it. Victoria's face went pale. And I watched everyone else stand there and pretend they didn't see. Nobody spoke. Ethan looked around the room. Power is not measured by how many people are afraid of you. Then he looked at Maya. It is measured by how you treat someone who has nothing to offer you. Victoria was fired that same morning. But Ethan didn't stop there. He ordered a full review of the company's treatment of interns and junior employees. He also offered Maya a permanent position. But Maya refused. Not because she was angry. Because she wanted to earn her place herself. I don't want a job because I'm your niece, she said. I want it because I'm capable. Ethan smiled through his tears. That's exactly what your mother would have wanted. Months later, Maya graduated at the top of her class. Ethan was sitting in the front row. But he wasn't there as a billionaire CEO. He was there as an uncle who had finally found his family. After the ceremony, Maya handed him a small envelope. Inside was the old photograph of Emily. On the back, Maya had written, "Some people enter our lives as strangers. And leave them as family." Ethan hugged her tightly. And for the first time in 22 years, he cried without feeling guilty. Because the coffee stain that was meant to humiliate Maya had uncovered something much bigger. It had revealed a family that had been separated for decades. And sometimes, the worst moment of your life is simply the beginning of the miracle you never saw coming.